Hey everybody, it is early. It's Friday morning. It is so great to be with you all because we've got so many great stories for you all. We've got a Marlin update from one of the long range boats, the Independence, where a guy, in fact, Gary Kwan from Taddy Lures, hooked a Marlin on a Sabiki rig with a Sabiki rod. We've got that story. We've also got the Relentless going tonight. There was 2 spots available. If you'd like to join us, it's only $450 for a day and a half trip, leaving tonight, Friday night, back in Sunday morning. $450 includes all your meals, including hors d'oeuvres tonight, as well as all your drinks, and that includes your beer. Also, you can send me a text at 657-227-6459 if you'd like to join us. Don't forget to smash that like button because we need your help moving us up the YouTube algorithm. It really helps us so very much. We've got a fish rescue bonus video at the end of today's reports, surface iron, yellowtail on the chew, and so much more. You know what time it is? It's Friday morning, and it's time for the morning briefing. Oh, so good. All right, everybody, welcome to the morning briefing this gorgeous Friday morning, and it is beautiful again. I know it's going to be a lovely weekend because the weather now is going to go to very, very calm. Offshore is going to be beautiful. I think it gives us a really good chance on our trip on board the Relentless leaving tonight. Incidentally, remember, if you'd like to join us, just send me a text. I'll get you signed up. Take those last 2 spots. All right, in addition to that, hit that like button. That helps us so much. So many of you are so faithful in doing that every single time here on the morning briefing or any other podcast we have. So I deeply appreciate that. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with some long range information. Sam De La Torre, I was talking to him yesterday. He said excellent fishing on smaller grade yellowfin tuna, but just about all you want right now. So they're really doing well on that. He said, it was later on in the afternoon yesterday. He said they had a couple of really nice grouper on board the Royal Star on their 11-day trip. Sam De La Torre, of course, from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California, is having a great time, and he is deserving of all of that and more. He needs to get a break once in a while, just like yours truly, perhaps. All right, so the Intrepid, we also checked in with them, and they were on yesterday some incredible big grade yellows. 30 to 50 pound grade they look like to me, and they are just gorgeous fish. They had a bite on straight big forkies, big yellows, so that was good to hear from them as they keep the ball rolling along really, really well. And then we move over to the Independence here recently on an 11-day trip. Now, this is a little bit of old news, but remember I mentioned to you they had a 351 YFT, so they had 3 fish and hooked 19 to get the 3. And I think 2 were over 300, and the other yellowfin tuna was up over 200 pounds. Really exceptional fishing. They ran into some insane marlin fishing. And I know a lot of you guys are not into it, but God, I am. I think it's so cool when you can go out and underhand a bait and hook a marlin. And, I know it gets old. Gary Kwan from Taddy Lures said he had 9 marlin, and the reason why he had 9 was because he quit fishing. He said it was flat, incredible fishing. Pat Conklin, one of the old captains that was on the Freedom the other day. In fact, Pat put that whole thing together. Pat had a dozen marlin. It was all you want. And then it got to the bizarre point where Gary was snagging bait with a Sabiki rig. He had a Sabiki rig on a Sabiki rod, and about a 90-pound striped marlin came up and bit one of those tiny little feathers, and he was on a marlin for a while before he busted it off. But that is really crazy, man. I wish you would have hooked 2 or 3 at the same time. Just like when you're fishing bait, you get 5. You hook 2 or 3 marlin at the same time. That would have been absolutely incredible. So some fun stuff going on, no question about that. So long range, looking okay. You know, I mean, it's not wide open. And there's some wahoo in certain areas also. There's been some tough trips and there's been some okay trips. But those big grade yellows, I like that. And all that small grade yellowfin tuna, Sam said that was absolutely wide open. And then Gary with that crazy catch. That is something that I'm not going to forget for a long time to come. All right, just a general statement about Southern California and Northern Baja. There is a lot of squid around. As you well know, the guys on the Freedom the other day went to San Clemente Island, and they didn't even put the squid lights out. Take a look. They just put like a hand light and held it over, and squid started floating. So they looked at one another and said, well, I guess we should fill the tanks with live squid. So they're going to have that squid Friday night. I don't know if the Freedom is running or not, but if they're not going to run, they're going to pass it off to some of their mates down here, probably the Amigo, maybe the Pride. I'm not sure who, but they've got live squid on board the Freedom for Friday night and for the weekend in case they are going to get out. So that is really great news. All right, let's go down to Ensenada, like I like to start down there with our friends down there. Arnie Mann. You know, Arnie Mann, you can find him on Facebook. He's got a great operation down there in Ensenada, and you should join him for a couple reasons. Number one, he saw what happened to our friend Martin Padilla. Now, Martin, if you didn't watch the morning briefing yesterday, Martin is a great friend of Friedman Adventures, goes on all our charters, shows up to our events, very supportive guy. He got into an altercation last Sunday with 3 assailants, and one of the guys shot him 2 times. Now, he's already making a remarkable recovery. In fact, last night, he was out going for a walk, and I was so happy to hear it. It's going to be a while until he can go back to work, but Martin is the kind of guy that when you throw a challenge in front of him, like, hey, you need to walk and you need to get into shape, he's going to embrace that challenge full steam ahead. Shots or no shots, he's out walking and doing a really great job. Anyway, Arnie heard about Martin, and Arnie called me up and said, Felipe, you want to viaje on my barco? Stop with the Spanish. You want a trip on my boat? You got it. Let's raffle it off, and the proceeds can go to Martin to help him get better. So, Arnie, I thank you so very much, mi hermano. Gracias por todo. Really a beautiful gesture on your part. When I get back from the Relentless trip, we'll put that together. And, of course, Martin will take all those funds, and it'll help him get through some tough times after being shot a couple of times. That is just freaking awful on the one hand, and I'm so grateful that Martin is doing so much better and out walking around. That is great news. Now, Arnie's also been fishing down there below Ensenada, and he said, man, they found some fish, some yellows that really wanted to lick the surface iron. They were biting that surface iron as good as you could possibly want. Fun times, fishing 40-pound, throwing a surface iron, and it was good. Something like a Tatty 45 is going to work fantastic for you. So some yellows around. There's been that big bonita around, Punta also. And of course, there's still really excellent rock fishing. Our friends over there at Blackfin Sport Fishing, Victor reporting some nice big sheepshead, a lot of lings and reds and other bottom grabbers that provide such excellent table fare. And high hopes that that's going to continue to head in the right direction. But that wintertime yellowtail bite will manifest itself sometimes down there in the Ensenada area. Sometimes it'll be out by Punta. Sometimes it could be down there by the Soledad Bank where the boys from Blackfin are fishing. They're fishing down that way. Sometimes it could be at Todos Santos Island. A lot of time it's deep fish. This time it was surface iron fish. But if you're headed down there, I'd bring your surface iron and I would bring your yo-yo iron. In case they are deep, you'll be able to drop down and do a number on them and fish it with 40-pound, nice grade yellows, and some really fun fishing for Arnie and the guys from Blackfin all over some really beautiful rock fishing down there. And when they clean those things up for you and send you home with that fresh, great fish, you are going to love it. Remember, no rockfish closure in Mexico Lindo. You can go across the border when we're closed on rockfish and catch all you want down there within Mexican limits, of course. All right, so Ensenada, cruising along. We got some surface fish. We also have some bottom fish. That is really great news, and hopefully it is going to continue to head in the right direction. By the way, Jeff and Fred Fuchs. They are out there watching right now. And I want to say thank you so much for all your support, for hitting that like button. I know that Fred shares our videos all the time. Fred, I cannot thank you enough. He is crazy about fishing, and he loves to watch Friedman Adventures, and I cannot thank you enough. Incidentally, Jeff dropped by a really nice microphone at 22nd Street Landing, so I am deeply appreciative to him for that. Hang on one second, I got to grab something here. There's a fishing tackle swap meet, Long Beach Rod and Gun Club. That's going to go on at 3333 Pacific Avenue, Long Beach, California. That's Saturday, November 19th, 2022, 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. There you have it. It should be a lot of fun and a lot of great tackle at a discount for you. So that is something that you're definitely going to want to do, guaranteed. And buy me something cool while you're out there, will you? I can always use some more tackle. All right, let's talk a little bit about San Diego offshore. We've still got to kind of harken back to the score on the Pacifica, where they had 33 bluefin tuna. A lot of that fish was taken at night. So Zach H. was on that trip. He loves the Friedman Adventures morning briefing. Zach, you're number one. Thanks for sharing the info. Thanks for the great update. He was on that trip. Excuse me. He said knife jigs were super effective in the 300 to 500 gram range. He was fishing a 400 gram rip roller, red in color, and he said it did him well, really well. The one piece of advice Zach has for each and every one of you, and that goes for, of course, everybody who's on the Relentless, if we are fishing at night, drop when the captain says drop. Don't take a sip of your Diet Pepsi or your beer or your coffee. Don't talk to your neighbor. Drop now. When the guy says drop, he's metering the fish. You want to get down on top of him. And many times you're going to get bit on the sink, but other times you put it in gear and take a couple winds, and you are going to be on. So that is really great intel. And there's going to be a few boats out with us this weekend. So we'll have some coverage. And, you know, this could conceivably be some of the very last trips of the year. So it's going to be fun to get out and catch some Thanksgiving tuna. That's always a thrill as far as I'm concerned. And I'm really looking forward to leaving tonight. Just a few more hours. Hopefully we'll see you on board. There's 2 more spots available. But I know all the rest of you guys, we will see you on that one. All right, Tanner Bank, Cortez Bank. As we told you, the Freedom worked that over thoroughly just the other day. And they found, really cool water. In fact, on the way there, it was 60 degrees. When they got there, it was 58 degrees. So any hopes of any kind of exotic bite went down the tubes, but just copious amounts of rockfish. Those banks are loaded with great eating rockfish, and they certainly put the wood to them on the latest trip on board the Freedom. And a lot of these guys now with live squid, you know, that does seem to enhance your rockfish bite when you're fishing either live or fresh dead squid. You catch a lot more reds, it seems like, and you can do really, really well. You want to catch big grouper, put a sardine on there. You want to catch reds, cows. I like fishing that squid. They love to nibble on that. So I think that's what's in our future. Now, the only thing that could change all this is this glorious weather that we've got headed our way. It's going to be really beautiful here this weekend, and that could change things. First of all, it'll be easy to spot any bluefin that are on the surface. Secondly, it's easier to work in that weather. And finally, it could tick up a degree or two in water temperature. It could. So that might be just what the doctor ordered. Add that to that good score on the Pacifica the other day, and my fingers are crossed for a really fun trip. We'll watch that for you very, very closely. Coronado Islands. Well, most of the guys that have been fishing there have been fishing the shallow water rockfish. Nothing wrong with that. Our friend Sean Hardigan and Scotty Buchert will be out there on Saturday on board the Mission Belle out of Point Loma Sport Fishing. Sean says, bring your yo-yo iron, bring some torpedo sinkers. More than likely, Sean says it's going to be rockfish, but they're going to look for yellows. They're going to give it a good hard try and see if those forkies want to bite again, as they were about 10 days ago. And that was all yo-yo iron and dropper loop fish on those yellowtail. They were deep at that point in time. All right, Catalina, there's been some sea bass taken over there. As I mentioned, the Chubasco 3 Had free swimming sea bass all around him the other day. Dan Burns reporting that. Had one nice big yellowtail also. I've heard from other yachts, as I told you the other day, that have been catching some nice grade white sea bass at Catalina Island. And with all that squid around, you saw what went on at Clemente with that squid. That's pretty crazy stuff. It's really looking pretty darn good. San Clemente Island, not many guys have been fishing it, and it hasn't been red hot, actually. There's been a few yellowtail, good bonita fishing, and decent calico bass fishing. Santa Barbara Island's had some big yellows on it, some nice halibut, occasional white sea bass, lots of rockfish. Channel Islands, man, there's been some really good lingcod fishing up there. Aloha Spirit the other day had fabulous lingcod fishing. I mean, as good as you could possibly want it. It was really, really good, so that's continuing. And up there, Santa Barbara, great rock fishing going on for the Stardust and other boats. And Virgin Sport Fishing, as I mentioned to you, under new ownership now, and they're still running some trips. Ron, I believe is the gentleman's name who bought it. He's a Navy guy, so we thank him for his great service as usual. Don't forget, at the conclusion of this, there is some bonus footage of a fish rescue that went down here at 22nd Street Landing. Right here. Right outside the studio doors, a fish rescue. You'll see that at the end of the credits or the song or whatever it is. You'll see it as we move you along. So, a lot of crazy stuff going on. How about that Sabiki Marlin for Gary Kwan? I mean, does that not blow you away? And there's so much squid that continues to force its way into our beaches and our islands, and that just bodes well for possible wintertime bite as well as a great springtime bite. Love those surface iron yellows for Arnie down south of the border, and thank you, Arnie, again for being so generous and helping Martine out. Martine, keep up the great work. You are doing fantastic. The long-range situation, still really excellent news. I mean, up-to-date news with Sam chiming in late yesterday and getting me that info, as well as the Intrepid. That's good stuff. There's just still a lot of fun stuff. And one more time again, if you'd like to join us tonight, I got a feeling it's going to be gone, but because I've had several calls yesterday and I'm waiting to hear. But if you want to jump on, there might be 2 spots left. Just send me a text, 657-227-6459. Along the coast, mostly shallow water rockfish for the half and 3/4 day boats. The Monte Carlo got in here Thursday, and I talked to some guys, and they caught some sheepshead and a few sand bass, and not wide open, but I mean, you talk about way better than any summer day. It was flat, calm, gorgeous, sunny, hot. It was beautiful on Thursday. Hopefully, they're going to have another day like that on Friday, and very few reservations. So, call down, make a reservation, get on there. You only have a few hours to jump on, and you may even be listening to this after the Monte Carlo has left, but hopefully you'll be able to get out and enjoy what is really some beautiful weather. All right, folks, there's so much fun stuff going on, and as always, I deeply appreciate all the likes you give us, all the support you give us. Sharing our stuff is so very important, and also taking the time to subscribe. It all means a lot to yours truly, and I won't forget you for that. Thanks again, everybody. Hope to see you soon. I'll be back with another morning briefing Saturday morning. Don't you dare miss it. Notice there's an opali that somehow is stuck up here on the rocks, and you're going to try to snag it or something, right?
Yep.
Well, let's see what we can do to rescue this poor guy. Crowd is gathering now, all hoping that this poor fish, this opali, can be set back to freedom. Who wants to jump down there? Any of you gentlemen?
I will.
You will?
Yeah, I will if I can get back up.
This guy's awesome, man.
Let's go.
Chop, chop. What is your name, by the way?
Johnny.
Johnny, what's your last name?
Castro.
Johnny Castro to the rescue. Johnny's afraid to touch the fish, but he's got it. Let's see if it swims away now, Johnny.
There it goes. Perfect.
Did it swim?
Yeah,
It's gone. Oh,
swimming.
yes. Hold on.
Come on, buddy. Float. Come on.
Yeah, right? I still say it comes to life.
Yeah, you just want to eat them?
Yeah, go back and get it, bro. Let's eat it.
You want to eat them?
He's going to live.
Think so?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out here. It was a valiant try, though. Good job. How are you going to get back up here?
There's a way.
Oh, you're strong. Yeah, that would take me. I couldn't do it. Let's put it that way.
I have a ladder if you need it.
There you go. That'll be it.
This man risked his life to save that opal eye. Good job.
Family members. Look at
Oh yeah, they're all gathering around. Come on, wake up. Now you're gonna have to trust me on this one because I wasn't filming when that fish revived and swam away. You could hear Janelle pleading, begging, please come to life. And while I was off goofing around somewhere else, it came to life and swam away. So the rescue was made in dramatic fashion, and I'm glad I was a part of it.
These guys. I love it, man.